Hi everyone, it's Agnes and welcome to another discussion. Today it's with Nicky. Welcome, Nicky.
Hi Agnes, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And just let people know where you are in the world, roughly.
I am a Brit in Los Angeles right now.
Nice. Lovely. We're all moving around.
Reminds me of the Sting song Englishman in New York, but it doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
Well, good. And I'm currently in Sydney, Australia for the moment. So we are going to discuss a few things. There's a few topics that we've just gone over. So let's start. You choose what you want to talk about first.
Just the fire thing that we were touching upon. The fire that happened in Australia.
Yep.
Everybody, myself, we all started imagining rain over Australia, and it was done.
Yes.
And it was a beautiful, orchestrated coming together of people uniting with one intention. I guess it is co-creating in many ways. That's a whole other subject. But so it was amazing to see that. It was very inspiring, you know, and we were all in unison. Now I got a comment by one person in one of these. It was on a Facebook group, Neville Facebook group. And he said, you know, ignore it. Stop watching the news. And I agree, you know, stop looking on social, stop reacting. And that's what we say. We say, don't react to your circumstance. Circumstances don't matter. You know, it's just an echo of the past that you're living now, and just, you know.
Yeah.
But at the time, as I was saying, I think we are spiritual beings living in a biological world, in a biological body, and we're here to expand and learn and go above and beyond who we think we are, and almost remember who we are. And so if I'm exposed to it already, and I don't watch the news, but I'm on social media, I'm in that very Facebook group that I was talking to him. So it's difficult not to be exposed to anything, any news these days. Yeah. And so now that I've seen it, I don't react to it. I mean, obviously I'm saddened by it, but I go, okay.
Yeah.
I left that and go, okay, what can I do about it?
Yes.
And it's done. Let me imagine.
Yeah.
It's my reality. This is what I'm going to make happen. This is what I choose to happen. Yeah. And I will read it. So, you know, it was an interesting point what he said. And I think he did respond to me with something else, and I didn't go further with him on that, because I thought it was a discussion. It's done now. It's rained, so yeah.
No, it's look, I am someone who doesn't watch the news either, but being in the middle of 2 fire zones at my mum's place, watching the news and looking up online actually got us to evacuate and get out of there before it got closer, because it was down the end of the street at one point. So don't really agree with that, ignoring it, because if I'd ignored it, I think in that situation that would have been stupid. So I do think ignoring things is probably not my route these days, because the whole point of actually seeing something unwanted is to be able to revise and change it into something wanted. That takes you not ignoring it. It takes you acknowledging it and using the power of your mind, the power of your focus, the power of concentration to transform something. So I think in the case of what was going on here, because I arrived right in the middle of the fires. They started in November 2019 and I got here in December. So, you know, there was a huge amount of chaos going on And my state was the state that was the worst hit. There was probably 8/10 of the houses burnt down, and there was over 2,000 were in my state. So I couldn't just ignore it. It was everywhere. There was people you knew that were suffering from this. There was people you knew that their houses were burning down, their livestock was being killed. I can't ignore that. I just think that's a very naive comment by that person, I will say, because I've been in the emotion of it and I've had to focus and revise. So, easy to say when you're not in something. I just think that we, as human beings, we are still human beings. We are human. We have to live in the world. So making comments that, I can hear where the person's coming from, but I don't agree with that. And I also think using the power of your mind to help other people, like many of you did around the world. I got many emails. People really helped. And me too. I would disconnect from the TV once I knew my mum was safe and I knew that I was in a place where the fires weren't going to come and get me, because I moved into the city, into an Airbnb to get away from it. Then I knew that then I had the power, because I was out of the danger zones. Then I could focus. Like you said, you don't get caught up in the sadness of it. You go, right, this is what we need to do. We've got to focus and we've got to live in the end of what's wanted. But there's still some human emotion about it. There still is. And I'm never going to say, oh, I don't have a reaction to that. I had a reaction to that. My whole country was on fire. That's not a good thing. And there's so many losses of animals. I love the animal kingdom. I'm big on nature. That's quite, it affects you emotionally to know that's going on. So although you do feel the emotion, you still have to harness and focus and live with the solution in mind. And, it has turned itself around. We're not out of the danger zone. It's still summer here. Fantastic. Lots of parts of Australia have been drenched with rain. Hopefully, we will continue to imagine that it is a fantastic summer with great weather, and that, people can keep and hold that vision so that it stays at that level. That's the important thing, is to continue with the projections that have been made of, and also we can continue to imagine more rain. I mean, just because something, country's in drought doesn't mean you have to say, oh, well, it's probably not going to rain. It can rain again. It's rained for 2.5 days. It can rain again. So we just keep going. And so those are my thoughts. Thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's I've got to get out of the house, and at some point I have to cross the road. I'm not just going to not look at the bus heading towards me.
Exactly.
Go, oh no, ignore it. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. No, so
it doesn't. And it's easy to say, Nicky, when you're not in the middle of it. I think once you're in the middle of something, you're kind of a bit more careful about making comments like that.
Yeah, and I've been, California is similar. Where I was just when I lost touch with you, I completely forgot I've been evacuated 2 times because of the fire.
Exactly, and you know what it's like. I mean, California and Australia, and there's another country that seems, I've forgotten, it just dropped out of my head. But those countries came to help Australia because they know what it's like. So they get on board and they help physically, mentally, emotionally, with supplies, and they get on board and they live in the solution. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Wonderful.
Okay, well, I'm glad everyone's okay. You guys are.
Yeah, all good for now. All good for now. We will continue to hold the good.
Okay. I feel like I'm reading the news.
That's all right. You can read the news.
Stay with us. Agnes Vivarelli. Yes. So letting go. I came to this epiphany. Now, I don't know if it's just true for me.
Yeah.
But people are afraid to let go.
Yeah.
Because they think everyone is you pushed out. When we say everyone is a mirror of you,
Yeah.
I think people think that literally, because in a mirror, when you lift up your hand, your reflection lifts up its hand. So they think if I show hatred, they will show hatred back to me. If I show them love, they will show love back to me. If I show them neediness, they will be needy for me too. And if I let go, they will let go. And I think that's what people, why they're afraid of letting go, because they're afraid that it'll all be let go on both sides, you know. And I think that's why a lot of people get stuck.
Yeah.
They think everyone as you pushed out is a mirror of them. So they take that literally. And I think maybe, you know, for myself, if I think of it as a mirror, you know, if I'm brushing my hair, my mirror is doing the same thing. And
no, that's a good way to describe it, because I do see that a lot when I'm having, you know, emails or coaching sessions or whatever, where people do see it as a mirror. I would say, because if you're needy, okay, let's use that one, because that's one that a lot of people relate to. If you're needy, it doesn't mean someone's needy on you at all. It doesn't work like a mirror, it works like a boomerang. Okay.
Right.
So let's use the needy one as an example. And a lot of people are living this, so they'll know. As soon as you're needy, the energy of unlovedness, because that's what neediness is, I'm unloved, I'm unwanted, I'm unloved, I'm unwanted. It goes out and it actually pushes love. The person will give you exactly what you're feeling. You are unloved and you are unwanted. That's what you get from them. You don't attract them being needy on you. So that's why people block you. That's why people go away and ghost you. That's why people say, I don't want to be with you anymore. I'm too busy at work, and they make excuses and things like that. So it's a magnet. So the magnets attract or the magnets repel. The unloved magnet in you and the unwanted magnet and the I'm insecure and I'm not good enough magnet pushes people away. So to get the person to turn around and come back, you have to be feeling that which you desire from somebody else. So you've got to be feeling loved, and you've got to be feeling wanted. You've got to feel secure for someone to come and reflect that back to you. You have to feel it to then attract it. So it's like the boomerang. You throw the boomerang of I'm loved and I'm wanted, and it circles back and it comes back to you. That's what a boomerang does. So there is very different understandings of letting go, and everyone's you pushed out. But the best way to understand it is look at the results you're getting. So you asked about letting go. Letting go is not letting go of the desire for something. It's letting go of the doubt. It's letting go of the fear of when am I going to get this? How am I going to get this? Is this ever going to happen? It's letting go of any negative emotion that you have about your desire. So, you know, so many people are looking at when am I going to get this? How am I going to get this? And if I let go, it's never going to come. Because if I let it go, but you have to kind of see it like it's like a seed with a shell nut around it. You hang on to the desire, the nut in the middle, but you've got to get rid of the shell, which is the doubt, the fear, I'm not good enough, they don't love me. You got to let go of all that stuff that's around the outside. That's what you have to let go of over time. And it's a process. You know, it does take time to let go because we are attached, and that's our human experience of being attached. And, you know, we all have attachments to different things. Over the years, hopefully you get better at seeing that attachment causes suffering. but you can be attached and transform that attachment into understanding. If I'm attached, I'm trying to get. And if I'm trying to get, I'm going to experience suffering. So your whole letting go is letting go of I need to get, you're my answer, that's my answer, money, love, sex, drugs, cigarettes, whatever, to make me feel better. It's this, you got to try and learn to feel better and project it out so that the photocopy comes back as a desired, wanted thing.
Yeah. Just digesting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I like to, what I like to do when I've not needed, but when it's required that other people act for my manifestation to happen.
Yeah.
You know, the bridge of events causes other people. I've always gone back to successful manifestations that I've had, and I kind of reverse engineer it, and I go, what? And I try and recall, really go back to that place. Where was I internally, emotionally, mentally, everything? What state was I in, so that I can recall that and use that energy again, that I, you know, that state, and remind myself, oh yeah, because we forget, you know, it's an up and down thing. You know, I had a meltdown these last couple of weeks. I wasn't in a good place, you know, and I think it's okay to do that. I think, you know, there are some people, like in some of the Facebook groups, that kind of come and they'll be like, you know, with the baseball bat, like self-love, it's like, you know, wait a minute. And that's not, I see them do this with everybody else. And I'll kind of chime in and go, hang on a minute, let's look at this from, we forget that when we're in a good place, oh, it's so easy to say that. It's sometimes we have to remind ourselves, okay, it's okay, I'm feeling this crap.
Yep.
Legit. Go, all right, okay, I know, like you said, it's a gauge of where you're at, you know. When you notice bad things going on around you, it's a good reminder of what you need to do to get out of that. You know, you're in the wrong state. And so allow yourself, give yourself permission. That is part of the self-love, is to give yourself permission to feel this crappy and this shitty, and yeah, I'm needy, I need that, you know. Yeah, it's okay. You remember you're a human being, and this is a journey. It's not a race, it's a marathon, and you will learn from this and you'll grow from this. And when we're in this, let it be like, if you need to cry, if you need to, you know, feel sorry for yourself, feel sorry, don't worry, you can undo the impressing that comes with that, but it's like a purging.
It is. Yes.
Let it go. Sort of the letting go. And if you give yourself permission to feel, yeah, I'm needy, you know, I'm having a bad day, and you know, I feel like I've taken 10 steps back, that's okay. That's okay. Let yourself feel that way. You haven't failed. You're not, because I think when there's a fine line, when I'm speaking from my own experience, other people may have a different experience, but when I've been like, oh, I've got to do the self-love, I've got to do the self-love, I've got to do that, oh my God, that almost causes resistance in me, where I feel like a complete failure, like, oh, I can't even do that, you know. It's like, allow yourself to go with the flow. And because I promise, I've seen people who've been in Neville groups, and one person, she came into one of the groups, she said, I'm done, I'm giving up, that's it, I can't do this anymore, thank you very much, everybody, it's been a good ride, but I'm done. And I was like, oh, don't say that, blah blah blah. And I just commented at the bottom, I said, she'll be back. Because this journey is, once you've learned some things, you can't unlearn it.
Yeah.
With Neville, I cannot unlearn the things I've learned from him. You know, even if I just want to throw in the towel and quit and be like, no, that's it, and be all dramatic and give up and go, nothing's going to go right, I come back to it every single time. And I come back with a higher knowledge of, okay, now I know what I need to do. Okay, reread this passage, reread this chapter, re-listen to this lecture or whatever, this YouTube, watch another Agnes Vivarelli. You know, now I'm seeing it through different eyes, a more mature, a more and a more appreciative. You know, it adds another layer to it, to whatever what I've learned. So you can't unlearn it. You can't, you know. And this is the purging, is the shedding of the old man, you know, that he talks about, and realizing your God self. And I have to say that self-love is so important, you know, but my doctor has always told me about self-love, like eat properly and exercise, you know. My mum has, you know, look at yourself, you know, when you go out in the cold, make sure you wrap up warm and make sure you have all your, you know, your greens, and that's all part of it. We all know what we have to do. Yeah. But that on its own hasn't worked for most of us. And I was into the law of attraction and The Secret, and everybody says that. And until I came to Neville, and I've since discovered there's been people before Neville who were born before him who talk about living in the end, imagination, pruning of the shears, all of it. I mean that's a whole other subject, and I find that fascinating. Yeah. But he has taught me that when I am truly accepting of my I am Godness, I am God, I am love. When I am out of love with myself, I'm also out of the awareness of my God self. And I've seen those two connections. When I haven't been aware of my God self, but I've practiced self-love or whatever, it has always been something missing. It's always been, I got to do this, I got to do that, and yes, you know, look after myself and blah, 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 and live my own life and be independent and to make my own choices. But there's always been something up. But when I realize I am God, what does that mean? Yeah. That means I love. This operant power is more than love. I can't explain it. It's another level of love, of self-love. God doesn't beat himself up and get needy and, you know, poor me. You know, I'm good, bitches, you know. Yeah. Maybe not. Yeah. Verbatim. Yeah. But you know, that's what Jesus taught. And I use Jesus in the context of Neville. You know, I hate your subconscious. You know, he's more of a state rather than he may have existed. I don't know. Yeah. But he may have been like you and me, living in a man's body, experiencing this, you know, earthly existence. Yeah. But I am God is I am love. And so I don't need to do so many like self-love affirmations or do that. I just go, I am God. I am love. Yeah. And I instantly, what does that do? My posture changes, my body relax. I feel the fear. And my uncle, who's also been into, I have two awesome uncles who are into manifesting, and we didn't know. And they're like, oh, you're into this too. I'm so proud of you, Nicole. Oh, yeah. Wow, nice. One of my uncles said to me, we were talking. He came and stayed over the Thanksgiving holiday here, and he said, I always say, Nicky, are you coming from a place of fear, or are you coming from a place of love? That's my little compass. Coming from a place of fear. Every decision you make, say to yourself, am I coming from a place of fear? Am I coming, whatever anxiety you have. So that's so simple.
It is.
It doesn't need big paragraphs, doesn't need a huge explanation. That's it. And we all can relate to that. It's simple. It's simple language.
It is.
So,
and I think, Nicky, when you basically start, you've got lots of negative thoughts and affirmations that you do, because that's what you've practiced and you've been good at. Then you start learning about all of this and you start doing affirmations, and some people do long lists of affirmations. But just like you said, you can basically boil it down to one affirmation: I am love, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you want to do I am God or I am source, whatever word you want to use, you can do that. But it really boils down to, if you just do that one affirmation, you can pretty much get rid of the rest.
Yeah. I like I am God because it encompasses all of it. It means I can manifest rain over Australian fires. It means this world can be so amazing it's all in me. And again, the whole everyone is you pushed out, and when it's like you say, you've got to go within. It's a boomerang thing. You've got to look at yourself. You're not changing anything on the outside. You're changing who you are, and you're not really changing who you are. You're remolding. You're discovering who you have the whole time. That we lost touch with ourselves. We had it with kids. We knew, and children have this amazing connection to their God self, to their self-love, to their imagination, to their, everything is possible with them. And we lose that. And hindsight 2020, you go, oh yeah, I remember the time when I did lose it. And at that point, and how it led on to so many other things. And it's a shame, but they should teach this in schools. If they taught this in schools, oh my God, the world would be so different.
It would be amazing. It would be amazing. I mean, I think there are people that teach it to their children at home and live it, and the kids get to see adults that are living, in a mindful, conscious way. They get to benefit from that. I think, look, I mean, being in Australia with the Aboriginals, I think they've understood. I mean, they use what they call the dream time. The dream time is about imagination. They understand the boomerang. They created it. The boomerang, what you send out comes back. They've known this stuff for I mean, they're a very old and ancient culture that actually understands that. So there's a lot to be learned from talking to people of these cultures and learning from them. And also, like you said, Neville wasn't the first one. I mean, Neville was basically using information that had been around a long time. He packaged it in a way that many people found pleasing, but it's not his knowledge. It's not. He's packaged it, and it goes back. Like you said, there's many that you can go back and read and so it's like an evolution and a passing on of knowledge that's been around for many years and many centuries, not just years, but centuries. And this is what's so amazing, is when you go on this journey, you go through deeper levels of reading different people, learning, then finding, wonderful teachers. I mean, some people say, I'm not reading anything, I'm only reading that person now. And that's, everybody's choice. But I do think that if you can go back and look at others, there's always someone amazing to discover and learn from. And, Neville's been a massive influence in my life, but I wouldn't say Neville's way is the only way. I wouldn't say any way is the only way, because I do think that mindset is what got people in religions fighting against each other for hundreds of years. My way's the right way and you're wrong. And I will never belong to that this way's the only way. I just think that's been a massive, massive pothole for mankind for a very long time. So being open and listening, and you may not agree with everything, you may not believe certain things, you may not want to believe what certain things you read or believe, but at least be open to hearing and then deciding, digest and learn and see that there are many wonderful teachers, such as Neville is, such as, I think Abraham Hicks has done an amazing body of work. Wayne Dyer, Joseph Murphy. I mean, the list goes on. Catherine Ponder and we can't forget Louise Hay. There's so many incredible teachers in their own right, and it's like they all give a little piece of the puzzle, and it fits together to give you a broader view. So we're so lucky that we can get on YouTube and get on Google and now access this stuff so readily without having to stand in a bookshop and look through books and go, okay, this is the one I want, So it's an incredible acceleration of the speed of knowledge that we can absorb. We can absorb it much more quickly. Applying it, that's another matter. But you can learn, take the bits you like that apply to what you're going through, and then start to become someone who is able to manage their body, their state of their body, the state of their mind, and their emotional experience.
Yeah, I think, yeah, whatever resonates with you and whatever works best with you. And I think the beauty of Neville and whoever else he learnt from, Abdullah, and I forget the names of the people that I came across, and I just started researching people who were born before him who wrote about these and taught these.
Yeah.
Influence, because the language is almost verbatim, the different techniques and everything. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that's how it is an ancient law. And, there's been people here before us for hundreds of years who knew the law before we did. So that's not, it's not a 20th century, 21st century thing. So I think what I like about Neville and all the others who has taught him is he has taught me I am the right way. If I my own truth, my own self-awareness of who I really am and what all this is, the reality, the news flash that I've learned from all this, like, it was hard to swallow for a while, are you telling me none of this is real, but now that I've accepted it, that's my truth now. And so whether it's Neville or somebody else, he has taught me, and I'm a big proponent of, when you're on this journey, if you've only been doing it a short while like me, I've been doing it for about a year now, stick with one teacher for now, otherwise you're going to just, it's going to get translation if you go to different, that doesn't, you're not doing yourself any favors, so one, really master it, and then you're in a more powerful position to learn from others too, and go, oh, okay, I see similarities, or I see differences, or no, I don't agree with that, I agree with this, or whatever, or you go, oh, I thought I knew it all, now I know more, but that he's taught me I have been in control this whole time. I've been manifesting my life. Good or bad. And I've done it when I've not. And here's the other thing. I understand people who say get in a high vibe and get in a good place. Yeah, who doesn't want to be in a good place? Obviously, I'd rather be than miserable, call me
Yeah.
crazy. But I have manifested things where I've been, in full of anxiety, and I've been in a, oh my God, I've got to get this. Okay, it's done kind of thing. Like, and that some people might say, well, that's resistance. But miracles have happened when I've been in that state. And so, yes, be in a happy place and play music and dance and, party and pop the champagne. Now's a good time to manifest, But when I've been angry, when I've been upset, when I've been this and that, I have also manifested things that have been very urgent too. And that's the other thing I wanted to bring up, was this thing of timing and deadlines. I have done things on deadlines, and I've manifested important things for deadlines. And I think what that is that, because a lot of people, let's just go back to, I need this amount of money, or I need that SP or whatever, and they're like, I need it now. I think you get it when you're ready. If you're not ready, like I've had a kind of a birth before landing kind of situation with my SP, but I know I'm not ready. And right now, I don't think I'd want him to be around me with the things that's going on in my life right now. So I've decided I'm not ready. And I think people are not aware of that. And this whole deadline thing, example, what if somebody needed, a kidney transplant?
Yeah.
And there's that. So there are things that will come if you impress it upon your subconscious, you live in the end, you persist, and that by a certain date it's do or die. I mean, it has to happen. Yeah. I'm not saying you should place timings for everything. It's very circumstantial.
Yes.
And that affects your belief, your state as well. Like if you just put a deadline on winning the lottery, I mean, that that might not happen, because in your mind you're thinking, well, do I really need that? Do I need that $50 million right now? Yes, I'd like it, but there have been things where I've needed. I'll give you an example. You're gonna love this story. It's about 2 little kittens, right? And people know in my neighborhood I'm a sucker for rescuing animals. If they're homeless, come into my home, we'll find a solution, it'll be all right. I can't walk. Somebody tells me and I can't just walk away. So my neighbor across the street, it was raining about a year ago, and she knows. She texts me and she goes, oh, Nicky, there's these 2 kittens. I'm like, where? In your house? She goes, no, they're behind the dumpster. Oh, what should I do? And she's not an animal person at all. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I went out, umbrella, and there's 2 kittens, eyes shut, umbilical cords. And I don't rescue kittens per se. That's not my thing. But it was pissing down with rain, and it was cold. And I'm like, oh, well, they don't have shelter. And I brought a little crate, put them in there. And I said, well, maybe the mom's going to come back. And then I called a veterinarian, and he said, they're going to die. You don't know when the mother's going to come back. If the mother saw you, she may have been frightened, and she won't come back for a while. In the meantime, they need to be fed and they need to be warm.
Yeah.
Long story short, I brought them in. I caught the mum too. She came back for them. She was very feral. I got her fixed. She was not adoptable. They said, just clip her ear and then we'll leave them. They fix her, they spay neuter her, and she goes. I had these kittens. So she had the babies for a while, and she was nursing them and everything until they were ready for adoption, because I don't want them going out. We've got coyotes and mountain lions and snakes and things. I'm like, they're not wild. She might be able to take care of herself, but not the. I spent ages trying to find homes. Now there is a infestation of stray cats breeding, and infestation. That's the wrong word. But and rescuers, they're overburdened as it is.
Yes.
And I called so many rescues, and they said, do you know, every time somebody calls us to say they've saved a kitten, we wish we could help you, but we can't. You're on your own. Because once they know they have shelter, somebody's looking after them, then they go that they're not a priority. We've got other animals that are which I understand.
Yeah.
But I couldn't keep these. I have another cat, and I just couldn't.
Yeah.
My landlady said no more, and I had to honor that because, yeah, it's not my decision. So I was in this situation. She gave me a deadline, and she gave me a serious deadline because I lied to her. I said I'd got rid of them, and then she found out that I hadn't yet. And then, so I thought, she actually said, you're going to get out. I'm going to throw you out if you don't get rid of them. Like, I'm done, no more. And I'm thinking, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I need to. So I tried everything. There's a lovely person in one of the groups, and I was desperate, right? I have no shame in this. He said, I will manifest anything for anybody. I'm really good at manifesting for other people. I thought, okay. And you know who you are, Mr. Bullbucker. I know I haven't said his name properly because
yeah,
that's not his. I've just butchered his name, but he knows who he is. Yeah. And he and I, in desperation, I'm like, you need to help me. I don't know what to do. I've got these kittens. I can't explain right now, but I need to find them a home.
Yeah.
And he's probably thinking, crazy cat lady, she wants me. Everyone's probably emailing him about SPs and jobs, and I'm like, I need to find. It's like, what's from? Okay. He goes, and he's sweet. No judgment. He goes, it is done. Don't worry, darling. It's done. I thought, oh, it almost felt, it gave me hope, because I was so in a place where that, and then other things were happening. My health wasn't good, and it was adding to the stress. My landlady, it was just piling up. So I thought, if I can get rid of these lovely kittens into a loving home, it'll be one thing off my shoulders, one weight off my shoulders. They were a priority, and I didn't want to just give them up to a shelter. No. I didn't go through just to do that, so I'm determined they have to find. And I saw on Instagram cat rescue people, and I contacted them, and they didn't get back to me. So I went to one of their adoptions in one of the pet shops that they do. And I literally accosted them. I'm like, you need to help me now. And they said, okay, listen, we've got a store. It's called Petco. I don't know whether they have them in Australia. It's big in America, Petco. It's a pet food shop. And they work with local rescues, and they do adoption days on weekends and stuff. And they have a little section where you can put your cats for display so that when people come in, they can see them. They said, we've got a 2-week contract. You can we will let you keep them in the pet store for 2 weeks only. You've got 2 weeks. It will give them exposure. We will post about them on our website and all the other sites, we're connected to, and we'll help you. But you've only got 2 weeks. And that was 2 weeks until my landlady was going to give me a deadline. I thought, oh, bloody hell. Okay. And she said, but you have to come every day, twice a day, feed them, clean their litter out. We're not responsible for any. I said, don't worry, I'm doing it. So with my job and everything, I was going there every day, driving there and back. And every time somebody would come in and go, are you looking for kittens, and I'd do the selling and everything. And I'd kind of exaggerate the sob story. I mean, it was a sob story. They were abandoned, 2 little kittens with their umbilical cord. And, and they were a brother and sister. And I knew they had to get separated if need be, if it meant they both have a home. So one of them, the black one, and it was around Halloween. And now people are telling me, oh, careful about the black one. There's weird people who do weird experiments with black cats. And I'm thinking, oh God, I don't need this. Now I feel bad. What if, and so there was some interest, and they would fall back, and then they'd lose interest. People would fill out adoptions, and most people were very helpful. People who walked in were like, you know, let me take your number, let me ask around. It was like a whole community effort. And then this one woman, this lovely Russian old couple came in. They adopted the black one. He fell in love with him, kept him for like 2 or 3 days. They had a terrible cat at home who was a bitch to the kitten. And they just didn't get on. And I kept saying, try, you know, it'll take time. I didn't want them to give up. They were going to give up after like a day or two. And I said, no, give it time. Meanwhile, Daisy, the calico, was left, and I felt so bad that she was on her own in this little thing. And then the Russians, I call them the Russians, they're a lovely couple, decided they couldn't keep Simba, the black one, thinking, oh God, here we go. And time's running out. And it was literally 3 or 4 days before and the end of my deadline. And I'm thinking, damn it. You know, and I'm like, but I didn't react, but I would have these anxieties. I think, God, what am I going to do? Be sleeping in the car with these cats.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, they're going to find a home. And talking of affirmations, this one, I'm like, I've got to do this. I was full of anxiety, not sleeping. I recorded my own affirmations on an app. Simba and Daisy have found a loving home. Simba and Daisy have found a loving home. Oh, such a lovely couple wanted Simba and Daisy. It was like, oh, over and over and over. Then an application came through for the black one again. And I said, yes. So I took that. Now he's in a forever home. Then I'm left with Daisy still. And it's literally the day before my deadline. And I'm in Petco. And I'm cleaning out her litter. And I'm thinking, oh, poor little Daisy. I got goosebumps about this. This couple walks in. And I've been playing this in Petco. Simba and Daisy are founding a loving home. Simba and Daisy Rose is going to love and then this young couple, awesome couple, who I'm now friends with. I'm friends with both of the couples. Come in and they start playing with Daisy, you know, in the window as I'm changing the litter. And I said, are you looking for a kitten? Straight away. And I told the story and I said, it's really sad. She goes, well, isn't it funny? My boyfriend and I were just talking about getting a calico girl kitten. And I went, ta-da! Your wish is my command. Literally the last night. And I held her, I literally, she must have thought I was crazy. I held her hand and I said, do you believe in miracles? She goes, actually I do. I said, I think this is your cat. I really do. I'm not just saying it. Seriously, she has to go to a shelter tomorrow, but I'm not just saying, I really think like you guys are looking. She goes, well, we're about to move. We're looking for a new place. We were thinking of doing it afterwards. We didn't want to do that. We've got 2 other cats and all this. I said, look, when you move, you take her. When you move, I will take the kitten and take care of her so that she's not in the way of your move. And I'll do it for free. I don't care. I just want her to go to a good home. And I know you. And that was it. Sold to the highest bidder. And it wasn't even sold.
Did you get in trouble from your landlady for taking it when they moved?
It didn't happen. They moved with her anyway. They moved with her anyway. Yeah, she just needed a little gentle nudge. And that was the last minute. This had been going on since, for months. And then literally the last day, she then went on. And my point is, it was a roller coaster. And I was full and I wasn't sleeping. And I was like, oh, kittens, landlady, job, money, litter. It was all of that. But my point is, I kept persisting.
Yeah.
No, it has to happen. This was literally a life and death situation for these cats. Yeah. And so I knew it had to happen. And so I think when you're really internally, you've got this deep fire of desire
Yeah.
Neediness. It's this better bloody happen. Like, it's gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
it's done. Like, no, I'm not entertaining any other alternative here. This is situation.
Yes.
I'm not going to react. Things are happening along the way that showed me in my 3D that it's not going to happen, and rejection and this and that. And oh my God, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, and blah, blah, blah. But it happened. And I'm like, oh, so that was such an experience. So I don't know whether that was help of somebody else helping me manifest, or whether he would, or whether that gave me the nudge I needed to get myself in the right headspace, in the right state. I don't know, but it worked anyway. Either way.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's it's like your persistence really helped them. And I think that's the thing when you're manifesting, doing it for somebody else or something else, and pulling yourself away from me all the time. Because I do think this journey of, whether you call it law of attraction or well-being or, manifesting, whatever words you want to use, it gets so fixated on the self to actually pull yourself away and do it for other people or an animal or somebody that needs help, like we were talking about doing it for Australia, for the fires. Pull yourself away from yourself and start to use your ability to focus for somebody else. And that takes you out of your own dissatisfaction, if you've got any going on for a period of time, which I think is a really great thing. You unhook, you take the fish hook out and you move mentally towards helping somebody else. I think that is it's just such a great way to release yourself for periods of time.
Yeah. I mean, I've told people, please don't tell me about lost kittens again, because I won't be able, you know me, I won't be able to say no.
Yeah.
Not get to a place where I can, maybe get a place of my own and
yes, yeah,
start my
own. Exactly. Well, that's
but there's a bridge of events. So here's another story of an excellent example of bridge of events. So my air conditioning unit, which it gets, like in Australia, it gets very hot. It's the cooling system that blasts out lovely cold air. Yeah. And it broke, and it was 4th of July weekend last year. And it was the hottest, it was like 100 and stupid degrees.
Yeah.
And then it broke. And I thought, gosh, I can't deal with this anymore. And I was talking to my mum, and my mum said, that Ernie guy, he used to live next door to me. He used to have an air conditioning company, repair company. But he sadly divorced from his wife, and they sold the house and went their separate ways, and God knows where they went. Because you could call him. I thought, well, I could, but it's going to cost me a lot. Now, I've got a utilities insurance here. You like spend like $20 a month, and it covers washing machines and things like that. You pay a small deductible for them to come and look at it, and if it needs repairs, they pay for the rest. It's a really good deal. So, for big unexpected expenses like that, and air conditioning is part of that included. But I still didn't want to pay the deductible of like $150. Oh, okay, let me think about this. And it was that time we had the biggest earthquake in California that it's happened for, like, I think in its history, apparently. And it was about 10 miles away from me. And it's 4th of July weekend. It's like America's birthday. It's busy, and it's earthquake and no air conditioning, and it's hot and everything. And this has been going on for about 3 days. And I thought, she goes, well, we were talking about Ernie as an option. I thought, well, I'd have to pay him for the whole repair. He has to come out, and if there's anything wrong with it, that might not, let me see if this thing works out by itself. And I've got to go get some supplies, because over here, if there's an earthquake, you've got to have enough water and food, and because if things shut down, the stores are going to be go zone. So thought, I'm going to go to the store, let me think about it, and get that out of the way. I go to the store, it's really busy. People don't care about the earthquake. They're getting their beers and their chips and their hot dogs and everything. And I park the car and I'm trying to find a space. And I can see the shop. It's really crazy. I walk in. Who comes out walking out? Mind you, I haven't seen Ernie in maybe 8 years. I don't know where he is. I don't know where he ended up after his divorce or anything. So I walk into the shop, really like in a hurry. I just want to get home. He walks out. And I went, and the voice is saying, stop him, stop him. I went, Ernie. He goes, and he can't hear me. And I scream in the crowd and go, Ernie. He turns around and he goes, who's this crazy woman? Oh, hello. I go, hey, Ernie, how you doing? He goes, oh, very good. I said, oh, how's the wife and kids? Oh, yeah, very good, very good. Oh, great. Listen, Ernie, I've got this issue, right, with my AC unit. And I was just wondering if you could just give me some, what do you think it is? And he goes, I know what that is. All you've got to do is go to the mains outside where the electrical main switches are. There's something called AU4 or something. Switch that on and off 2 times. I promise you that'll fix it. I went, really? He goes, I promise you. It's a very common thing. Okay. Get my water, get my supplies, get back in the car, go. And I go to the side of the house, come home, I switch it on and off, come back in the house. Hallelujah, it's working. Now, this, if the earthquake, literally, if the earth hadn't moved, if the earthquake hadn't happened, I would not have had the reason to go to the shops, to get my water supplies, to meet Ernie at that particular shop of all shops on that day, and now my AC unit is fixed. It was just a crazy bridge of events that sometimes even it takes an earthquake for things, for the universe to, be the architect of this end result that you know. And amazing. It was like, and it was right on the day. I just said to my mum, well, let me think about it. Maybe I'll try and track him down or whatever. But that was insane.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
I've got another story.
I'm going to have to go because I've got a coaching session in 10 minutes, unfortunately. So we're going to have to stop and...
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this.
Oh, no, thank you. Look, I'd love to keep going, but yeah, it's 11:11 here right now.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for just a wonderful conversation. I think there's lots of good bits in this, and I do think, this is an endless subject. You can just always talk about how things assembled themselves when you look back, and you just see things are at play that we could never control or force into being. So both of those stories really illustrate that. So thank you for sharing them. Now, do you want to say goodbye to everybody, and then I'll say goodbye, and we'll say bye in private after that?
Bye, everybody, and everybody who knows me. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was great.
No worries.
Thank you
for coming on and sharing your time, Nikki. And thanks, everybody. I will see you, where, in the next YouTube.